And let's see here. Mute all. There we go. We're going to start seated on the floor. So just get comfortable wherever you are there. Today's theme is going to be related to opening and closing doors, opening and closing paths, opening and closing our bodies. So just kind of keep that in mind. And at the end, I'm going to share with you, and some of you may already be receiving this on a daily basis, but it's called Daily Om. And it's a really nice reading that comes out every day. And it's kind of like our meditation that we start our day with. You can have this Daily Om. And at times there's some classes that they offer that you can pay an amount to take those classes. And I have done a few because they're very, very reasonable, but I'm not promoting that. But I am saying that you might want to look onto that. And if you're not already subscribed to receiving that, it might be something you can do. I'll share with you today what came out. And that's kind of where I got my theme for today, is opening and closing doors. And so also then opening and closing our body, right? And just had a request for upper body, and then a request for a lower body. So we'll make sure we get the full body opened and closed and receiving and releasing. That's all part of that duality, right? Of one thing and the other. So I'm going to sit here in a cross-legged position, Sukhasana, easy pose, whatever you like to call it. Or if something else is a little more comfortable to you, please feel free to do that. Also, you can begin seated in a chair. And I'm going to go ahead and raise my palms up so that I can be ready to receive the giving that is going to come from what I do with my body through my practice today. I'm going to let whatever is connected to the earth or to the chair be really grounded there, really feeling even and balanced in my sits bones, in my posture, feeling length in my spine from the base up through the crown of my head. And right now, I'm just feeling just that connectivity. I'm feeling my own strength, feeling my own empowerment. I'm feeling myself being a vessel for the energy that I receive from the earth and from the heavens. I'm just closing eyes and taking in a few gulps of breath through our nose as we fill in from the belly to the ribs and up into our clavicle area. Slowly, right? It's going to take a little time to work into that full 3-part yogic breath. And that breath is a slower breath than we're normally breathing, maybe. It's a fuller and a deeper expression of our breath. It's lengthening. It's relaxing. It's quieting and calming. So imagine you have an empty glass in one hand. Let's say your left hand. You have a more full glass in your right hand. And they're both clear. And you pick up the glass in your right hand that's full of water. And you begin to pour it slowly into the glass that's held in your left hand. And you'll note that that glass, that vessel receives the water from the bottom, into the middle, and then into the top. Just like our breath in this 3-part yogic pranayama breath. Filling up the bottom of our abdomen, expanding out through our ribs, coming up into our chest. And then when we exhale and we're releasing that water from the glass, we release from the top through the center, down and empty in the bottom, which is the base of our belly here, pulling in at the navel. And you feel that contraction there So let's do 3 or 4 more of those, please. Feeling that expression with your body, maybe seeing that image in your mind's eye. And 1 more, please. Good. And now we're going to just do some isolations with our middle part of our body, right in through here. And again, I'm going to take my hands, either hold on to my knees or keep them upright. But I want to begin this left and right motion. And you will feel this. I did this yesterday in a class, and I'm feeling it today. You're going to feel it in your obliques. And we're just taking that chest and the ribs, anything from the waist up, just following ourselves left and right. Now, you may not be taking it with your breath right now. You might just be experiencing what this feels like to move back and forth. And this also will really kind of clean out your intestinal area too, right? You're going to feel there's sluggishness there, that this is going to activate it. Now we're going to start to take it with some breaths. So I want you to inhale here when you come over to one side, it doesn't matter which, and exhale to the other through your nose. Let's do 4 quicker ones. So not like that. And then 4 really long ones. So I'm going to really inhale, really bringing my body over and take that nice little exhale to the other side. Go, keep going here. 3 more. Your rate may be faster or slower than mine. Just trying to maintain even weight on our sits bones. 4 at a quicker pace, please. And 4 slow rate. And then coming back to center, right? Now, so those are movements left and right with our spine. Let's go ahead and take some forward. Hold on to your knees. I'm not going to go too much into the lower spine right now. I'm just going to lift up the heart. Okay, lifting up the heart, lift up your shoulders. Take a look up. Right? As I look up, I'm pulling on my knees to pull down my shoulders away from my ears. I'm not cupping it into and arcing into the lower spine right now. I'm just really letting my clavicle, my upper chest rise up. And I'm going to release that. Now I'm going to take and just let my chin come down and release the back side of my neck, chin to chest. Just feel that relaxing there. And then I'm going to go ahead and take myself into neutral. And again, not coming into the spine too much yet, just lengthening up through my chest. Looking up with my chin and my gaze. Holding that for another big full breath. And then coming with just chin down, back stays straight, okay? So the rest of the vertebral spine is straight and your cervical spine is released downward. Slowly rising up there. Now let's go ahead and take that more into a cat-cow where I'm going to pull my heart forward, look up and take that curve into my lower spine. And then exhale, hold on. Let my weight come back. Yeah, feel your shoulders open and expand. Bring myself back onto my sits bones. Open up and inhale. Please keep going. Really let your weight come back there. Maybe switch your hands when you come forward. I'm putting my hands under my knees. It just helps me to lift up with that resistance. And then I'm taking my hands over and cupping my knees when I come back. Holding on with dear strength so that I don't go flapping on my spine on the back there. Keep going. Finding your opening and your closing. Feel that rocking that's happening on your sits bones. Come into body awareness here and just really, really feel what's going on in your body right now with this simple little flow. And it's simple to do, but what's going on in your body is really complex. So a lot going on. Let's do one more set like this, please. Taking yourself back up. If you're seated like I am in Sukhasana, I'm going to go ahead and just change out my legs there so that I can have a little bit of evenness there. Maybe make sure I'm still seated right on my sits bones there. And before we get out of this seated position, let's go ahead and take ourselves into some circles here. Okay, so we've come forward, we've come back, we've come left, we've come right, and now we're filling in all those points in between. So there may be a little bit of stickiness there, right? You might feel that you have a little bit more opening from the front and the sides, and maybe those corners are where we need to get in with our body a little bit more. It's like that spatula, getting out all of the good brownie mix or whatever your favorite mix is in that bowl. Let's go around in the other direction. Maybe something healthier. I don't know. Let me see if I can think of something healthier we can put in that bowl. I'm sure you guys can. Right now, I'm thinking of brownies. And are you breathing? I'm inhaling forward, and I'm exhaling back. And one more round. And that. Sitting up straight and tall. Let's go ahead and take our hands out, lift them up, inhale, interlace, push away. Find that length in your sides of your body, opening up through the ribs, opening up through the lungs here, letting our palms reach up towards the sky. Shoulders, try to pull them down. And I know this type of arm really wants to lift our shoulders up. So let's pull them down as we push through the palm of our hands. Okay, and just see how that that kind of opposite feeling is happening for you right now. Big inhale. Exhale. Releasing down. One hand stays down, the other one lifts up. Really lifting, really letting the other one come into the land, come into the earth, and let's come on over. finding that nice length there, one side, and depth on the other. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. Good. Opening this side, opening this door. What's it bringing in? Maybe you can just kind of examine some of your life's experiences as we go through our yoga practice and making those metaphors with the openings and closings that you've experienced in your life. What doors have opened? And have you taken yourself through them? Let's take our hands interlaced behind our spine, squeezing shoulders together, letting the chest come forward. Shoulders squeeze. You can just feel that kind of like a massage into that shoulder joint there. Back, scapula. And let's come forward. And when you're ready, if you want, let your chin come to your chest. Hands can come up, but they can stay down if that feels better for you. And it might feel good to leave the hands down and let the shoulders just release, rounding forward. So you can either do that, or you can have them pulling back with your hands reaching up. Or you can go in between the two and see what feels good to you. Pulling at your belly, rounding yourself up here, coming out of that rounded spine into a nice straight spine. And let's go ahead and open up our legs so that we're sitting in a nice V position. I'm on a blanket. You can sit on a block. You can sit straight down on the ground. Just being on something gives me a little bit of a lift of my hips. And your legs may feel like they want to lengthen. They may feel like they're really still kind of cold and need a little bit more work. So let's just see where they are at this point. If you have a strap, great. If you don't, that's fine. If you have blocks today, great. If you don't, that's fine as well, okay? But let's just see, having those legs open like that, and let's take our ankles, our feet, and just let them go wiggle wobble. And I know right now you guys aren't able to actually see my feet, so I'll make sure that I'm being detailed in my explanations there. So just let them wobble a bit. And in doing that, we're feeling a little bit of that all the way up into our inner thighs, to our hips a bit. And then again, sitting up, and let's just take our body, lift up here from the sits bone. Come on back down, lift up here from this sits bone. Come on back down, one more time each side. And then planting ourselves down. If you have that block, take a hold of it. If not, just use your hands. We're going to come forward with a flat spine, okay? And again, that forward may not be a lot because of the back of our legs and where we may feel we are. You can also come down onto your forearms, okay? If you have that block, you can just extend your hands out with that block as support. When you get to that place where you feel like that's a good place for me to just kind of let go, then release there. Let your head come so that your chin comes and drops towards your chest. Really letting your neck muscles go here. We are in a forward fold, so that should alert you to pulling in at your navel, staying strong in your core, okay? Anytime, forward fold, think of pulling in at the navel, protecting that, okay? Couple of breaths more here, those big, long, three-part yogic breaths. And then I'm going to make sure my belly's pulled in, walk my hands back with or without that block, sitting up straight and tall here, with or without a strap. I'm going to begin to walk down one of my legs. You choose which side you want to go to. If you have that strap, you can attach. If not, attach yourself to your leg, okay? And so I'm kind of taking my body, the torso, towards that leg as well. And then I start to let myself come down a bit with a flat spine. If you don't have that strap, but you have blocks, you can take 2 blocks and hold on to them so that you can keep that flat spine. So just play with what you have. And if it's your hands are just on your leg, okay? The strap just adds an additional little bit of a way of extending yourself a little bit more. Now, I just noticed that I'm pulling up from my right sits bone as I do this. So I'm gonna push it back down, okay? Want to keep both my sits bones planted as I'm letting my weight come over to one side. And again, we're doing this slowly because we're just opening up the backside of the legs in a gentle format. When you get to that place where you say, yeah, that feels good, that's where my flat back's going to stop, then you can go ahead and release your head. Maybe your forehead comes close to your knee. Maybe not, just let everything go. I guess when I say everything go from the waist up, so all the way there, but your legs are still active. Breathing in, and I know it's difficult because if your chin is toward your chest, it's a little constricted there. Breathe through it. And then slowly I'm going to lift my head up, come to that flat spine, bring my body up, and turn myself to the center. Now I'm going to pay attention to my other leg because it's wondering if it's going to get its turn. So again, walking hands down, your leg, straight spine, using that strap, using blocks on the side, keeping the back nice and straight to begin with here, okay? No, wait, go, nope. So here we are, feet are flexed. And our breath, right? Our breath is that kind of opening and closing door also. It's letting us receive, letting us release. Let yourself lowering just with gravity, just with breath, just with your weight. And when you get to that point that says that's going to be it, and you've made sure, just like I had to remind myself, that I'm pushing back down onto my opposite hip of the direction that I'm leaning. And then I'm going to let my head go. So breathe, guys, breathe. Feel that breath kind of coming into your thigh there. One more big breath here. And then bringing my head up, pulling it at my navel, coming to that straight spine. And then slowly bringing myself back up into a straight position here. I'm going to release that strap if I have it. I'm going to bring my legs in and I'm going to form a really big diamond shape here. Okay, just scoot back a little bit so you guys can see me a little bit better. So I'm going to have this diamond shape with my legs. All right, and let's go ahead and find ourselves sliding down, touch our toes maybe, let our head go, exhale. Bring yourself back, hold onto your knees, inhale, look up, and exhale, slide down. Let's do a few of those, please, just to, again, match our breath with our movement. Opening those doors. Closing one door so we can open another. Getting to the threshold of that door. Taking a look, wondering what's next. 2 more, please. And then finding yourself up. Let's take those legs a little bit more in. And when you do that, your hips are going to open more, and we're going to come into bound angle or Baddha Konasana, butterfly. Okay, this was more of a diamond, and if that's just it for you today, you can stay there. Or you can bring your feet in a little bit closer to your groin area here, still trying to maintain a nice straight spine. From here, we're going to go ahead and take my left hand, hold on to both of my feet, take my right hand behind me. See how that helps me to lift up through my core and center and all the way up to the crown of my head, and how it also helps me open up my legs a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my twist, looking over my right shoulder pulls back, left one pulls forward, and I feel that again in those obliques, in my belly area. And then slowly coming back around, I'm going to switch hands, place the opposite hand behind me, push down, open up through my legs. Take a look in the back there. And releasing forward. And then let's go ahead and come onto hands and knees, making that transition, and maybe putting something underneath your knees so that you guys are nice and comfortable here. And let's go ahead and do our cat and cow here, making sure first we're in a good tabletop position, releasing belly down, look up, inhale, and exhale. Let's just do 3 more here because we've already done 1 form of cat-cow. When we were seated in our original position there. Those cat-cows, Chris, will really help with your neck, okay, and your shoulders. And you can pull that into your life throughout your day. Let's go ahead and bring our right foot in between our hands. Okay, so I'm still with one knee down and one knee forward. And I'm going to take my hand onto that bent leg in front. I'm going to interlace my fingers, take my hands, palms down on the top of my thighs, come to the top of my back foot. Okay. And then I'm going to let my front knee come forward. Usually we don't do too much of that, but we're doing it mindfully, and we're doing it with the purpose of opening this hip flexor here, squeezing into our glutes, opening up the front, and letting our hearts shine a bit here. If you want, you can look up. Just breathe a couple breaths here so you can feel the opening here we're trying to get for that front hip flexor. For our throats, so we can sing our songs and speak our truth. And then bringing ourselves back up so that the knee is directly above the ankle. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my hands down. And here's another good place for blocks. Your hands may be a little bit shorter, arms shorter, fingers shorter than mine. So you might want to use blocks, because now we're going to come on down into what they call half split. Don't let that scare you. All we're doing is, and you can come back to the ball of that back foot if you want, or leave that foot flat on the top. So I'm going to just let my tailbone come back. I'm going to extend that front leg. We've already done some opening on the front side of the leg. So just go back as far as feels right. You can let your head come down half monkey pose, they call it. And then we're bringing ourselves back up onto our knee and letting our hands come up high into this modified lunge position, crescent pose, lengthening the side body here. So all could also be considered a modified warrior one position, lengthening. And let's exhale, open up into cactus arms. Let your heart come forward and come into a bitty back bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cactus arms. Releasing heart up, gaze up, throat open, and rising up again. And now exhale, hands come down. They interlace behind you. They push down, just like we did earlier, squeezing shoulder blades together. And let's come into this somewhat reverse warrior one position here. Opening up our hearts. Also referred to as exalted warrior. Bringing yourself up, inhale. And then taking our bodies at a diagonal here. And we're going to come into a humbling type of asana. So I can, again, have my foot flat on the back, or I can come into the ball of that back foot, whatever's going to help you maintain your balance. Coming over here, we're going to pull in at our navel, come down just about a quarter. Inhale, lift yourself up. I want to try to maintain that front knee moving forward. Not moving so much, but staying in that forward motion. Staying right there, not coming in or moving out, but staying directly forward. Now I'm going to come down about half, pulling at my navel. My shoulder is coming close to that knee. Okay, that's forward. Pull myself up, inhale. Nice, that looks great. And now coming down, you can stay just at half with that flat spine, or if you'd like, you can release your head. When we release our heads, we're releasing heaviness, heavy thoughts, maybe negative thoughts, stagnant energy. We're releasing ego. Keep the hands right there at your tailbone, or you can begin to lift them up and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Head is hanging, dripping away, releasing and letting go. I love these humble warriors. They really are good reminders to me of releasing of things that no longer serve me. I've thought they served me well, but they really have not. Pull in at your navel. Slowly, slowly rise up here. Take your body forward. Releasing hands down and bring them up. Inhale. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, rise. Exhale one more time, cactus arm, heart upward. Rising up, inhale. And exhale, my hands come down on either side of that front foot. Bring that front foot back. Coming onto all fours again. And then taking my left foot forward in between my hands. Get yourself situated so that you have back hip and back knee in alignment. Front knee and front ankle in alignment, at least to begin with, right? Having blocks available if that helped you before. Pulling in at my navel, finding my long spine, and lifting up, inhale. Really finding length here, deciding if I want to stay on the ball of that back foot or take it flat, right? Maybe go back and forth between the two. See what works for you. Let's start out with 2 cactus arms. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Those exhales, I'm taking them out of my mouth for some reason. That just feels more releasing for me. But you can stay with them in and out of your nose. And take your hands, interlace them in the opposite way on top of that front leg, pressing down into that thigh area, making my spine nice and long, and then letting that front knee slowly come forward of that front ankle. Notice the stretch you're getting, that opening in the opposite hip front side. That's our hip flex. That's what helps us to move gracefully through life. And you're feeling that squeeze. Glutes there, also huge muscles that help us to move gracefully through life. Should try to get out and walk. It's really one of the best things for our big muscles and our hip flexors. Maybe you can release and relax into this a little bit more. No forcing, just let weight, let gravity, let breath. And then bring yourself up so that front knee is above that front ankle again. And then I'm going to reach on down, fingers to the ground, and I'm going to let my tailbone come back. Let my front leg start to lengthen to the point that feels right. I can keep my foot glued flat on the ground, that front foot, or I can slide it forward and come onto the back of the heel. You get a little more stretch that way. Find what works for you. Find how far back you want to take that tailbone, how much you want to express your body weight forward. All going to depend on reading your edge, okay? Your edge will be my edge, which is different than everybody else's edge. So make it your own. Flirting with your edge. I heard that yesterday from Hallie. Chris knows Hallie. I took her class last night and I like that term. So tailbone is back, your body is forward, maybe your head drops to your knee or past it. We hold this a little bit longer too, because again, we're working into the deeper muscles for this opening of the back side of the leg. And then we're going to inhale, bringing our body up, finding our front knee and ankle alignment again, and taking our hands back on up, nice and long here. And then exhale, my hands down, interlace in that opposite way behind me, right at my tailbone, and then maybe pushing those hands down, squeezing them together. Shoulder blades come together, pulling down. And then if I like, I keep letting my hands come down, my shoulders squeeze, and my chest lifts, my heart extends upward. Then slowly and mindfully bringing my body back upwards, taking myself into that diagonal formation, pulling in at the navel, quarter of the way down, exhale, inhale, lifting up, being mindful that that front knee stays in that centered position rather than coming and moving inside. As I move down, that knee's going to want to follow. So I want to try to keep my hip active and sending that energy to the knee so it stays forward. I've just gone down about halfway, shoulder towards the side of my front knee. And this time I'm going to repeat any of that. I'm going to come on down, head the way, letting it release. If you have a block down there, maybe it releases onto your block. Maybe you just let it dangle. Really letting go and seeing maybe those things in words or images leaving through the crown of your head, going into the earth, those aspects of who we are, the things that we carry that we're ready to release, let go of, open the door and say goodbye to. I gotta call myself out of this, because if not, I stay here a long time. Pull in at your navel and start to bring yourself back up. Slowly here, slow low. Shoulders forward, release those arms. Inhale, lengthen sides of the body. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, rising. One more time, exhale, cactus arms. Rising on up. Exhale, hands come right next to that foot, and that foot comes back. And from here, tucking toes, letting our tailbone come back, finding your arms spread out forward, and tap your forehead on the ground. Inhale, slide your hands back, come onto the balls of your feet, lift up, and take yourself into down dog. And let's go ahead and walk out your knees. We'll see if one of my dogs comes in the picture and shows us just really how to do down dog. Inky likes to do that. He's a show off. So we're going to go ahead and walk up those legs. I've done a lot of opening in the backside of those legs, but let's walk them out in here. And then finding a nice expression of our down dog here. And then letting our left foot stay on the ground. Lift the right one up high. Let's take some ankle rotations there. Earlier, we just kind of flopped our ankles around left and right a bit here. Let's take those big circles like we did with our hips and circle around in the opposite way. And lifting up. Let's go ahead and bend that knee and take it in between our hands. Does this sound or feel familiar? We just had a foot between our hands, but our knee was down. Please feel free to take that knee down if you like. I'm going to take that back foot into a 45-degree angle, so I'm not worried about balance here so much. All right, but we are going to feel ourselves strengthening. We're going to rise up, coming up into our stance for warrior one. So I'm going to bend into that front knee as much as my body's allowing. Front knee facing forward, toes facing forward. Happens to be my right leg. It could be your opposite one. Back foot is at an angle. Those toes are somewhere between forward and sideways. Okay. I raise my arms up. Inhale. This is going to look familiar. Exhale 2 times, cactus arms. Offer heart. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands clasp behind you, interlace, opposite way. Crown, heart, throat opens. Stay low in your legs. Rising up slowly. Taking myself at a diagonal. Quarter the way down, exhale. Bringing myself up, inhale. Quarter the way down, exhale. Inhale, rising. Exhale, half the way down, my shoulders by my knee. Holding in at my navel. Pulling up. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale up. Repeating either one of those or coming into that full expression of humble warrior, where I let my head go. My arms can stay right here, hands at my tailbone, or I can lift them up. Or if that, either one of those isn't right for you, you can take your hands to the ground and help support you with blocks, or just hands, releasing head. So either hands tied behind you in that kind of a bind, or here, holding and supporting you strongly as you feel that in your legs. Takes the work to let go of ego. It's not an easy thing. And then we're going to take our hands back behind us and begin to lift up through half and quarter and find yourself up, shoulders, hips forward, releasing hands. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cactus arms, heart rises. Inhale. And exhale. Rising up. Straighten that front leg. Turn towards me, knee towards you. Getting our toes forward and our heels right behind them, okay? And then arms come all the way down. And let's just stand in this wide-legged mountain pose of sorts. And just take a couple breaths here before we go to the other side, right? That was a lot on that leg, especially, I know my quadricep is feeling that. Always feel free though, you just experience that. Standing in with the knee bent and in that more modified form, variety there, variation, please take that if you like, okay? I'm gonna turn my left toes now, my opposite foot out. My back turns halfway in between, being forward and to the side. Hips are kind of forward here. Bend into that front knee, finding my lower body with that length, with my depth, with my width, all of that lower body into warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1 here. Okay. Arms release, rise up, inhale. 2 times, cactus arms. Breathing out through mouth or nose. We're trying to breathe in through nose. Rising up. Staying low in my legs, my hands come down, reach around, opposite grip. Let my hands sink down, shoulders squeeze, and take my heart up. Stay present and firm in my feet. Only going back to that place where I feel I am totally in control. Well, I guess we're never totally in control. That would be a fabrication. But we have our balance. And lifting up, inhale. And quarter the way down, exhale. Inhale, quarter the way up. Is that front knee staying forward? Quarter. Inhale, rise. Exhale, halfway. Shoulder comes close to me. Inhale, bellies are strong here, rise up. One more time, halfway down. Rising on up. And let's take it all the way down if you want, or just quarter or half, okay? Having those arms follow you over, or taking them apart and placing them on the ground in front of you, okay? You'll still get so much out of that. It just won't be so much on your shoulders, right? So some of you may want that, some of you may not. Really let you here. Starting to feel that intensity of our legs being in this position. Pull up on that back kneecap a bit, strengthen into your quadricep and push down into the outer part of that back foot. Feel your front quadricep, really feeling this depth of your humble warrior here. I'm going to take my hands back as I release them. I'm going to put them at the base of my spine, pulling in at my navel point, lifting through half, through quarter, bringing myself up. Oh yeah, turning back, hips towards that front bent knee, raising my arms up, inhale. Exhale, cactus arms. One more time, inhale, up. And exhale. Inhale, rising. Front leg straightens. Ooh, yes, thank you. And bringing my feet forward and my arms down. Let me take a flat spine here. Pull in right here. Pull in at your belly. Rise up, inhale. Exhale, just halfway. Pull in here. Note that. Spreading your cheeks out behind you by bringing in your toes a little bit more and your heels out. Inhale, lift. Let's do 2 more of those. Exhale, like we're diving, but we're going to stop right here at that halfway point, feeling the contraction in our bellies, rising up with that strength. And coming down with an exhale. Pull and navel to spine. Rising up. And exhaling. And bringing our feet together. Standing in mountain pose. I'm going to bend into my knees and really come with my hands here. And come into a squat and curl and tuck and round yoga ball. And I'm going to take my seat on the mat. Find whatever position I want for my legs. You may want to be in that Sukhasana again. Maybe finding the one opposite that you normally would go into, or finding yourself in whatever position really feels right for you. And you could also lay down if you'd like, because I'm going to read through this little daily Om. It'll take about a minute or so. So find a place where you just feel like you can let go to the earth, closing your eyes and maybe visualizing along with the words that you'll be hearing from this daily Om. We'll talk more about it after, and I'm hoping most of you are already connected to this site. When doors open, our lives are the result of all the doors we have walked through, and our continued growth depends on our willingness to keep moving into new spaces. So just like in our yoga practice, we move into new spaces, we try different asanas, we might find ourselves really expanding in one and working towards that expansion in another. When a door opens, walk through it. Trust that the door has opened for a reason, and you have been guided to it. Sometimes we have a tendency to overanalyze or agonize over the decision, but it is quicker to simply go through the door and discover what's there, as that's the only way to know. Even if it doesn't seem right at first, opening this door may lead to another door that will take us where we need to go. Doors open when the time is right for us to enter a new space. Metaphorically speaking, and we can have faith that walking through is the right thing to do. Sometimes we linger in the threshold because we are afraid of leaving our old life for a new life we know nothing about. We may have voices inside of our heads that try to hold us back, or people in our lives saying discouraging things. These voices, internal and external, are known as threshold spirits. and they express all the fears and doubts that arise at the beginning of a new life. Nevertheless, none of these voices can hold us back, as they will fall silent as soon as we come across the threshold. There are many doors that open the course of our lives, leading us into new relationships, jobs, friendships, and creative inspirations. Our lives up to this point are the result of all the doors we have walked through, and our continued growth depends on our willingness to keep moving into new spaces. Every time we walk through an open door, we create a sense, a memory that encourages to move into the new fearlessly and with courage. When we enter the new space, we almost always feel a thrill and a new feeling of confidence in ourselves and in the universe. We have stepped across the threshold into a new life. And I want to